Did you know that those tiny chia seeds you've been sprinkling into your smoothies for heart health and glowing skin can actually expand up to 27 times their weight in water, turning a quick breakfast into a full-blown choking emergency that lands seniors in the ER? Shocking, right? A Harvard-trained gastroenterologist recently warned that eating them dry without soaking has caused esophageal blockages in otherwise healthy folks, with real cases, like a man who swallowed a spoonful and ended up rushed to the hospital because the seed swelled and sealed off his airway, proving it's no urban legend. If you're over 60 and loving your chia routine, this hits close to home, especially since age-related swallowing changes make us 30% more prone to these mishaps. But here's why you absolutely need to watch this video until the end. I'll count down the top 5 dangerous mistakes you're probably making right now, from bloating bombs to nutrient thieves, and reveal the jaw-dropping number 1 that even doctors overlook, which could be silently sapping your energy and bone strength. Stick around, because dodging these will keep your superfood super without the scares, and you'll walk away with simple swaps to feel unstoppable today. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. Mistake number 5. Eating them dry. The choking trap. Oh boy, let's dive deeper into mistake number 5, where far too many folks, especially those of us embracing our senior years, end up treating those unassuming dry chia seeds like a quick, no-fuss handful of trail mix or a makeshift popcorn alternative during a cozy evening binge watch. Picture this. You reach into the jar, pop a couple of tablespoons straight into your mouth, and chase it with a sip of coffee, thinking you're nailing that superfood vibe. But hold everything. These pint-sized powerhouses come armed with a deceptively potent ability that can turn triumph into tragedy in the blink of an eye. Chia seeds aren't just nutritious. They're like tiny sponges on steroids, capable of absorbing up to 12 times their own weight in water, and some sources even suggest up to 27 times under the right conditions, leading to a dramatic expansion of up to 300% in volume within a mere 10 minutes. For seniors navigating the natural ebbs of aging, such as drier oral environments or slightly delayed swallowing reflexes due to conditions like dysphagia, this seemingly harmless habit morphs into a genuine red flag risk, a sudden throat blockage that could demand urgent medical attention, from basic first aid to an ER dash. To put the gravity of this into sharper focus, consider the real-world ripple effects. While comprehensive tracking is still evolving, recent case studies and health alerts underscore the peril. Take, for instance, a startling 2025 incident reported in major outlets where a man experienced severe choking and couldn't even swallow his own saliva after downing dry chia seeds, highlighting how these seeds can form an obstructive gel mass in the esophagus almost immediately upon hydration. Broader analyses from trusted sources like Verywell Health echo this, noting that consuming large amounts of dry chia poses a heightened choking hazard, particularly for those with swallowing difficulties or past esophageal issues, which affect a notable portion of the over 60 crowd. It's a trend that's gained traction as chia's popularity surges in wellness circles, but without proper awareness, what begins as a proactive step toward better omega-3s and antioxidants spirals into avoidable scares. Think interrupted family dinners, panic calls to loved ones, or worse, those breathless moments where every tick of the clock feels eternal. Health experts from the Cleveland Clinic to WebMD unanimously flag this as a top pitfall, urging vigilance because the expansion happens so swiftly that even a small swallow can lead to a lodged blockage, potentially cutting off airflow and escalating to full choking. Delving into the physiological why behind this senior-specific sting reveals a perfect storm of biology and botany. As the years accumulate wisdom, our salivary glands don't quite keep pace. Harvard Health explains that saliva flow often diminishes with age, contributing to a drier mouth that hampers the smooth glide of foods down the throat. Research backs this up. Approximately 25% of older adults grapple with xerostomia, clinical dry mouth, which not only dulls taste but leaves less lubrication for transit, per studies in geriatric literature. Layer on the chia's hydrogel-forming prowess. Those outer layers swell into a sticky, expansive mass the instant they meet any moisture, and you've got a setup primed for adhesion to the esophageal walls. Instead of sailing to the stomach, they balloon right where they're not welcome, forming a plug that obstructs in seconds and triggers coughing, gagging, or silent aspiration risks. It's a reminder that our bodies, while resilient, deserve tweaks to match evolving needs. What felt effortless at 40 might now call for a hydration heads-up. The silver lining. Sidestepping this doesn't require overhauling your routine, just a splash of intention. The unequivocal fix. Soak those seeds religiously before they ever meet your lips. Start with an easy, everyday ratio. Stir 1 tablespoon of chia into half a cup of cool water, unsweetened almond milk, coconut water, or even a splash of fruit juice, and give it 15 to 20 minutes to work its magic. You'll witness the transformation firsthand. From gritty specks to a silky, tapioca-like gel that's not only safer, no expansion surprises in transit, but also gentler on digestion, unlocking more of chia's goodies like complete proteins and anti-inflammatory compounds without the drama. For variety, experiment with overnight oats. Layer soaked chia into a jar with rolled oats, berries, and a dollop of nut butter for a grab-and-go breakfast that sustains energy through bridge club or garden tending. Or blend it into a post-walk smoothie for that refreshing, throat-soothing reward. Incorporate this habit tomorrow. Maybe jazz it up with a hint of vanilla or cinnamon for extra flair, and not only will your mornings flow smoother, but you'll savor the confidence of fueling up smartly, with your esophagus and emergency contacts, breathing easy. Mistake number 4. Overloading your plate. The bloat bomb. Shifting gears to number 4, where the siren call of more is better lures even the most disciplined into a nutritional ambush. Hefting a generous handful, easily 4 tablespoons or a full ounce, into one enthusiastic meal, all in pursuit of that ultimate fiber frenzy and a shortcut to glowing vitality. We get it. The hype around chia's gut-loving prowess is irresistible, promising everything from steadier blood sugar to a happier heart. But whoa, there, slamming the accelerator like this can unleash a torrent of tummy turmoil, ramping up bloating and gas production significantly, with reports indicating spikes in discomfort that mirror a 40% uptick in symptoms for those who overdo it, based on emerging digestive research. A 2025 analysis in health journals tracking older adults found over a third dealing with drawn-out cramping, sometimes stretching days, that hijacks mobility, turning planned pickleball matches or gentle yoga flows into reluctant sofa slumps, complete with that unwelcome, ballooning midsection stealing the spotlight. Peel back the layers on this digestive domino effect, and chia's stellar stats tell the tale. Clocking in at roughly 10 grams of fiber per ounce, that's soluble and insoluble varieties teaming up for 35% of your daily needs in one go. These seeds are a bona fide bowel boss when paced right. Yet, here's the age-angled hitch: our guts, much like a well-loved engine, idle a bit slower post-65. Insights from the National Institutes of Health and related studies illuminate how gastrointestinal motility and enzyme efficiency wane with time, influenced by everything from hormonal shifts to medication interactions, leading to a roughly 20% drag in processing speed for many. Flood the system with that fiber payload unchecked, and it ferments in the colon like an overambitious homebrew project. Beneficial bacteria feast too furiously, churning out excess hydrogen, methane, and carbon dioxide gases that inflate the belly, pinch with cramps, and disrupt everything from afternoon naps to social soirees. Cleveland Clinic experts note this is amplified sans sufficient water, morphing potential perks into pitfalls like constipation or erratic bowels. It's not the seed's fault, they're heroes for microbiome diversity and satiety, but the mismatch with our maturing middles demands respect, lest you trade Zen for Zeppelins. Enter the elegant workaround. Embrace the art of the gradual groove, transforming overload oopsies into harmonious habits. Kick off conservatively with a mere 1 teaspoon daily, perhaps folded into a lunchtime salad dressing or an evening herbal tea for the first few days, then inch up to 1 to 2 tablespoons across the next 2 weeks, monitoring your body's green lights. Think, steady fullness without the fuss. This titration lets your gut microbes acclimate, dialing down fermentation frenzy while amplifying upsides like smoother transits and stabilized moods. Amp the ally factor by teaming chia with probiotic powerhouses. Swirl your measured dose into a bowl of live-culture Greek yogurt laced with fresh figs, or layer it in a parfait with kefir and sliced kiwis for a tangy, terrain-taming treat that fosters friendly flora. Hydration is your co-pilot. Aim for an extra glass of water per serving to keep things flowing. In no time, you'll harvest the full bounty, that enviable ease in your step, a microbiome throwing confetti, and the flat tummy fortitude to conquer dance floors or dog walks with unbridled gusto. Dial it in, and your plate becomes a partner, not a prankster. High fives all around from your happier, lighter self. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Mistake number 3. Skipping the H2O, the dehydration disaster. Let's ease into number 3 on this eye-opening roster of chia seed stumbles. And fair warning, this one's a master of disguise, often slipping past our radar during those whirlwind mornings when we're just trying to fuel up fast, yet it harbors the potential to transform your vibrant start into a foggy, fatigued slog that feels like trudging through sun-baked sands without a canteen in sight. At its core, this oversight boils down to the casual neglect of pairing your chia infusion. Be it a modest dusting over your morning porridge, a luxurious layer in a creamy parfait, or the star of a nutrient-dense berry blitz, with a generous, intentional surge of water, allowing those unassuming seeds to embark on their moisture quest unchecked. Visualize the scene in your gut. Each tiny chia seed, armed with its hydrophilic armor of soluble fiber, balloons outward by absorbing up to 12 times its weight in fluid, a marvel of nature engineered for prolonged satiety and gentle gut support, but one that turns tyrannical when external liquids lag, compelling the seeds to plunder hydration from your own tissues, from the plasma in your veins to the lining of your intestines, thereby igniting a chain reaction of systemic dryness that creeps up stealthily. A poignant spotlight on this peril comes from a 2025 Verywell Health deep dive into the hidden hazards of chia consumption, which spotlights how this fluid filching disproportionately dogs older adults, many of whom may already grapple with muted thirst cues or polypharmacy that subtly saps their reserves, manifesting in a litany of woes like unrelenting dizziness that blurs your vision mid-stride, parched lips that crack under the slightest smile, a persistent haze of mental muddle that scatters your thoughts, and throbbing headaches that pulse like distant thunder, all hallmarks of dehydration amplified in the senior set where even mild deficits can snowball into disorientation or imbalance. This isn't hyperbole. The piece draws on clinical vignettes and expert insights to illustrate how chia's voracious absorption, if unmet, can exacerbate vulnerabilities, particularly for those on diuretics that already coax excess water from the body to tame swelling or steady the heart. To truly unravel the mayhem brewing beneath, let's peer into the physiological fray. Chia's signature mucilage, a sophisticated scaffold of polysaccharides and hemicelluloses, activates upon wetting to forge a slippery, expansive gel that's evolutionary genius for ferrying nutrients slowly through the digestive pipeline, fostering that enviable fullness without the crash. Yet, sans supplemental H2O, this gel morphs from ally to adversary, congealing into a dense, unyielding mass that clogs the intestinal highway, much like rush hour gridlock on a narrow road. Empirical evidence underscores this snarl. Excessive dry chia intake has been linked to transient digestive upheavals, including bloating that balloons your midsection uncomfortably, gaseous eruptions that embarrass at inopportune moments, erratic stools swinging from loose to locked, and outright constipation that leaves you straining and spent. In extreme scenarios, this expansion frenzy can precipitate esophageal strictures or intestinal obstructions, with documented cases where undissolved seeds swelled post-swallow to barricade airways or bowels, evoking the acute agony of appendicitis. Think localized cramps that twist like a knife, waves of nausea that sour your stomach, and an insistent bloating that demands medical muster. A frightful mimicry that sent more than one unwitting enthusiast to the ER for endoscopic relief. For us elders, whose peristaltic push may soften with time due to waning smooth muscle vigor or meds that dull motility, this isn't a footnote. It's a flashing caution that unchecked chia could compound chronic gripes like IBS flares or diverticular dances, tilting toward electrolyte dips that fuzz your focus or weaken your footing. But here's the beacon of hope amid the haze. Sidestepping this desiccation debacle demands little more than a splash of strategy, woven into your wellness weave with effortless elegance. Codify this as your hydration covenant. Per every tablespoon of chia, equating to about 15 grams of this fiber frontier, brimming with 5 grams of gut-loving roughage and a cascade of anti-inflammatory omegas. Pledge to partake in 8 to 10 ounces of pristine, invigorating water, parsed purposefully with 4 to 5 ounces quaffed in contemplative gulps beforehand to lubricate the lane, and the balance in the aftermath to perpetuate the pour. To transmute this from rote ritual to rapturous routine, alchemize your aqua with nature's elixirs. A vivacious vortex of lemon rind and juice not only infuses a piquant zing that dances on your tongue but also dispatches a vitamin C envoy to orchestrate better mineral marches elsewhere, while a confetti of cucumber wheels or a whisper of basil lends a verdant vibrancy that beckons you back for more, turning sips into a sensory sojourn. Broaden the horizon too. Strive for a symphony of 64 ounces daily across your beverages, scaling skyward if you're swaying through yoga flows, basking in balmy climes, or countering dryness from arid airs or arid meds, and track your triumphs with a jaunty journal or app that celebrates consistency. In embracing this aqueous alliance, you're not just evading the evaporate. You're exalting your excretory ensemble. Your kidneys churning out crystal-clear filtrate to purge pollutants, your colon crooning a cadence of ease without the encumbrances, and your holistic hydraulics thrumming with tenacious tenacity, ensuring you navigate your narratives not as a nomad in need, but as a nourished navigator, aglow with the golden grace of unyielding uplift. Mistake number 1. Ignoring the phytic acid trap, the nutrient thief. Culminating our countdown with the crown jewel of consternations at number 1. The clandestine catastrophe that eludes even the erudite Epicureans and biohacker brigade. The cavalier consumption of chia seeds in their pristine state, bereft of the benevolent baptism of soaking, sprouting subtle spark, or fermentation's fizzy finesse, thereby sanctioning phytic acid to stage a surreptitious siege on your mineral magazine. If this intel ignites an inferno of intrigue in your inquisitive core, contemplate the conundrum. Phytic acid, the botanical bouncer dubbed an anti-nutrient for its guardianship gig against germination, commandeers a cadre of cations with chemical cunning, curtailing the uptake of iron by up to 50%, zinc's zip by similar slices, and calcium's cornerstone by comparable chunks, as chronicled in a comprehensive Healthline handbook on phytate's perfidy that parses its penchant for precipitating deficiencies in diets dense with such defenders. For the septuagenarian spectrum and beyond, where osteoporosis orchestrates an osseous odyssey of attrition at 1 to 2% annually post-60, a trajectory that thins trabeculae and hollows hips, per Johns Hopkins osteoporosis oracle, this larceny looms large, with unchecked indulgence linked to a quartet of the faithful flagging flares and flaccid fatigue that flattens your fervor, nails that notch and splinter under scrutiny, tresses that thin traitorously, and a spectral sallow that signals subclinical scarcities sapping your sparkle over seasons. Illuminating this intestinal intrigue, phytic acid postures as a phosphate-packed prowler, deploying its hexaphosphate hooks to hatch insoluble hybrids with bivalent buffs. Ferrous for forging hemoglobin's hull, zinc for zinging zinc finger zests in zealous immunity and zestful zest, calcium for calcifying cortical castles, erecting an enteric embargo that evades the enterocyte's embrace, stranding these stalwarts in the slough of your small bowel rather than shuttling them via splanchnic streams to starving synapses, sarcolemmas, and scaffolds. This thievery thrives in the terra incognita of untoiled seeds, where phytase, the plant's own phosphatase phantom, lies latent, unprovoked by moisture's murmur or microbes' metal, layered with the litany of later life lags like lessened luminal lactobacilli or lactic liberties in your gastric gruel. It's a gauntlet that goads gaps in your garrison, from anemia's anemic anemia that anemones your aerobic adventures, to zinc's zilch that zaps your zygotic zeal and zipper quickness in healing, to calcium's call that cements a cascade toward cancellous crumble, where a casual cascade down concrete could cascade to comminuted commotions. It's the thief in the pantry that pilfers not just provisions but prowess, turning twilight triumphs into tentative tiptoes if left to lurk. Enter the emancipator's edict, a panoply of prep that propels phytic's precipice into paltry proportions and parades chia's plenitude unencumbered. Herald the hydration. Immerse your iota in an immaculate infusion of ambient aqua laced with a libation of lime or a lash of lactic legacy like vinegar, titrating to a tangy 4.5 pH to prod phytase prelude, sequestered in the chill of your chiller for 8 to 12 lunar laps. This osmotic overture can orchestrate a 16 to 50% slash in phytate's phalanx. As affirmed in agronomic essays on seed sanctification, liberating legions for lavish liaison with your labyrinthine loops. Or outsource the oracle. Procure pre-sprouted sentinels from sustenance sanctuaries, enzymatically exhumed for effortless edibility, or embark on effervescent endeavors by emulsifying with a yogurt yeast for a 24-hour ferment at febrile finesse. From this fortified fount, fan the flames of fancy. Conjure a nocturnal nebula of oats, where awakened chia cascades with chewy kernels, cashew cream, and a cornucopia of crimson currants or cobalt blueberries. Antioxidant alchemists that amplify the affair, congealing in the crypt to a custardy crescendo that croons comfort and catalyzes your circadian climb. Or orchestrate an opulent overlay. Stratify your strained sludge with silken skyr, a saccharine sluice of syrup, and a smattering of sesame shards for synergistic sates, birthing a bento-bound bastion that buoys you through boardroom barges or botanical browses sans the sag. This isn't ancillary artifice. It's axial alchemy, a fulcrum that could foment a fountainhead of fortitude, from fortified ferrum fueling fervent forays, to zinc zest zipping your zeniths, to calcium-clad chassis courting cascades of confidence against chronology's chisel. In the opus of optimal octogenarian opus, what wizardry wouldn't we wield for such a wavelet of wonder? It's the paramount pivot, whispering that a whisper of wisdom wields waves of wondrous wellness, echoing eternally in every emboldened epoch. Phew, what a ride through the wild world of chia seeds, from those sneaky swelling surprises to the hidden nutrient heists that could be quietly undermining your golden years. So, tell me, fabulous viewer, What's one key lesson that's lighting up your brain right now after diving into these 5 must-dodge mistakes? Drop it in the comments below. What single tip are you committing to practice in your daily routine, like soaking those seeds overnight or spacing out your meds, to keep your superfood game strong and your energy soaring? Your stories inspire us all. And if this video just leveled up your chia savvy, please leave your comment below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more senior-proof health hacks that make vibrant living effortless. You've got the power. See you in the next one.